TimberSurf here with bit number 9. If you're like me and have a lot of enamel paints, old Umprol and Airfix paints or even the new stuff, you'll probably suffer from a similar problem that I have, which is when you come to open the tins, you'll find that the paint has separated out over time if you haven't used it very recently, and you end up with the varnish at the top and a thick sludge at the bottom. Now, of course, you can use a toothpick or paintbrush and thoroughly mix it up, but I found this little trick that you can buy a 5mm ball bearing and drop it into the tin. Having done that, the next time you come to use the paint, all you have to do is vigorously shake the tin. The ball bearing, like the one inside a rattle can, agitates the paint, and the theory is when you come to open it up again, the paint will be nicely homogenized and be ready to be used. Unfortunately, you end up having to do it for a very long time, and if the sludge is really thick, it doesn't actually break it up. To be honest, I think if you're going to do this, I'd go for a 6mm ball bearing rather than the 5 now. If you do put a ball bearing in, just mark up the top of the lid with a B, just so that you know that it's got a ball bearing in it. The other method that I use, which is probably my preferred method, is to mix it mechanically, namely with a coffee frother. Now, obviously, if it's got the spring on it, it'll create lots of bubbles, which we don't want, so we're going to have to modify it. But even the modified version can end up splattering paint everywhere. But this is a little trick that I've learned over the years of saving your shirt and the rest of your workbench by taking a tissue and folding it up into quarters. Put the flappy edge down the bottom and wrap it around the tin. This produces a protection against your shirt and stops it from splattering everywhere and wasting paint. So what you need to do is just turn it on and then slowly rotate in circles, lift it up a little and put it down so that it gets to all the little corners and agitates all that sludge in the bottom. And you don't need to do it for terribly long. And then as you lift it out and switch it off, it only produces a very small amount of splatter on this tissue, not on my shirt. Now, obviously, it needs modifying, and as standard, they tend to come as a spring on a circle of wire. And essentially, what you have to do is to get some pliers and find the end of the spring, the one that's not got the curve going to the middle, and just bend it up a little bit, and you'll find that the spring will simply slide off. Once you've done that, you now need to cut the circle off. I've got a pair of extremely strong special steel wire cutters, but if you don't have those, don't try it with the electrical cutters, it will damage them. You need to use a junior hacksaw or a Dremel, and once you've removed that circular part, you've now got a little L shape, which is the perfect size for agitation without teaching up the paint out the tin. Unfortunately, if you switch it on now, you're going to end up with a cone of that rod because it's out of balance. And the way to get it back into balance is to get your pliers and go up about 20mm, 3/4 of an inch up the shaft and just bend it like it's shown here. And you may have to bend the bottom piece up to make it parallel. You don't have to clean the stirrer every time you use it, although you can wipe it down if you want to, especially if you're going to do a different colour. But if you get a build-up of paint, it's a simple matter of leave it for a few days to go hard, then get some pliers and just crunch the paint and it'll just break off. They're readily available from your local cheapy shop for about a few pounds, and I think you'll find it's very useful. So that's it from me, and I will see you in the next vidbit. Ciao for now.